Hi there, and welcome to another episode of from Democracy Theater, where where I might get good at this one day, right? Where I, your host, Rich Scott, comment on politics, comedy, and on the intersection of the two. So today I'm going to continue to talk a little bit about the podcast that will never go away, the Joe Rogan podcast with Dave Smith and Douglas Murray, where Dave Smith has been, we're now days after. Certainly yesterday he was out there again defending his defending. I, I would rather say he's out there explaining his position, and he's out there saying that he doesn't um, that he's not that the argument of law is literally not hearing his argument. So he puts out a video where he wants to once and for all clarify uh, his uh, his position on that. So I wanted to watch that video with you guys and then comment on it as we go along. Hey man, I did this a little more smooth than I did last time, right? Come on, give me a little credit, right? Well, I knew you were going to say I didn't fucking watch it last time. What are you talking about? Anyway, so here is Dave Smith, and again, he is commenting um, on the podcast that he did with on Joe Rogan with Douglas Murray. There's no sound. Where'd the sound go? It's interesting. Strange. That is very weird. Oh, there we go. That's because I didn't put my headphones on. I'm a fucking brilliant person. Anyway, let's start this over. Okay. If you if you believe in morality, what is morality? Well, let's at least just really quickly say morality. What's the definition? The quality of being in accordance with the standard of right or good conduct, a system or collection of ideas of right and wrong conduct. Interesting. So, oh, I hope that doesn't come through like that sound. But anyway, um, so at least on the basis of, oh, I hope you can't hear that. I can certainly hear that. So his argument is starting to fall apart, right? Because he's saying on a moral basis, we are not okay with civilians or women and children being killed, period, in a peacetime situation, which is right, and that's the moral standard. So therefore, we cannot have, therefore we cannot accept that happening in war either. All right, that's his argument, I think. Yeah, but and there it is. There it is. Because isn't morality also a social construct, right? What is right and what is wrong is different from area to area on the globe. I mean, it's damn near different within the United States. However, on what we can all agree on as a people in America, we have then taken our moral convictions or our moral ideas or our moral beliefs and we have codified those into, is that the right word? I hope so. Into law so that law reflects our morality. But morality, what is good and right, is different. So therefore, his morality is not necessarily my morality or Ahmed's morality or Benny's in Denmark's morality or Sven in Sweden or Gunther in Germany. I mean, it's not necessarily the same. But when we agree as a large majority, we put that into law. In the West, it's a lot like, don't murder. You can't throw gay people off buildings, so forth and so on, right? It's too late in the night, or I'm too dumb, or I'm a little bit too high, but It ain't making sense to me. But let's go. Of course we can. Of course we can. Of course we can. Of course we can. That's exactly the point. We have different ideas, and in different countries we have different laws that reflect different morality. In America, we don't have any laws that protect people from dying because they don't have any money and can't go to a doctor. Right? We think that's okay. That's morally okay. We're okay with that. That's morally okay. In all of Europe, but I'm going to say probably even fucking in Russia, certainly in China, I think, that's not morally okay. So they have gotten together over there and they have codified some laws. This is how we get to the big large agreement like at the UN, right? I mean, the Bill of Rights is a moral document. That's morality codified or agreed upon, and then written down, and then that's now the law. That's how we got to the human rights. Bunch of nations got together, a vast majority of them say, okay, these things here we can all agree to is the moral right thing. And people should be judged by this standard. But it's a social construct. We get together as tribes and we figure these things out. But they have things like honor killings, right? They feel that it's morally correct to chop a hand off for somebody who steals. In Iran, it's a morally okay to beat a woman to death because she's not dressed right. In America, we think it's morally correct, okay to have we're still fighting about that, but having abortions. Like I said, we think it's morally correct. Let people die from lack of health care. We think it's morally correct that 16 million children live with food insecurity. And there's a bunch of nations around the world, and especially other industrialized nations, that look at America and say, what the fuck? You're amoral, immoral. Your morality sucks. How dare you come lecture us? So I don't know what the fuck it is that he's talking about with this one thing. Whose morality? Whose morality do I believe? Yes, I hope I have a coherent moral view. I hope that I apply my morality equally to all situations. That's why I have the quote that I have, or I had the quote that I had from Thomas Paine. The world is whatever. I I I look at all situations regardless to who's in it, right? I try not to give a shit if it's friend or foe. I try to judge it, whatever. But that's my thing. I can't. You're just fucking frustrating that none of you motherfuckers do it. The same thing. Well, I don't feel like you do it. It was an arrogant thing to say, right? But right, so, but that's my morality, and then I think, and I don't think you're doing it because you don't have the same morality as me, so ergo, right? You see how that works? Like again, I appreciate it. I think he's probably would be fun to hang out with. Super smart. I'm not like I don't come to my channel if you're coming here for somebody like to hate. I don't fucking hate anybody. I don't know any of these people. How could I fucking hate him? Are you kidding me? He's an American. There's no more hypocritical group than prosperity Christians, follower of prosperity Christianity. No more hypocritical group. He knows this. What the fuck is he talking about? No, God gave us free will. Cancer. No, but in his libertarian fucking world, Walmart would probably have a private army, right, or a private police force. So yeah, he should really tread carefully with where he's going with that. As I call libertarian, the fuck you, I got mine, a group of people, right? But I digress. I just, yeah, we did. We have representative government. We sent representatives to represent us. They went to fucking Washington, D.C. They put their apparatus together. They convinced America that it was a good idea to go to war in Iraq. Yes, we did that. What is this, like, pushing away of responsibility for the actions of your fucking government in a representative democracy, in a democratic republic. Russians could say it and have some validity to it. The Chinese can say it and have validity to it. Pakistan can say it and have Pakistanis can say it and have validity to it. There's nobody in Europe that can say it. There's nobody in America that can say it. There's nobody in Canada that can say it, or in Mexico that can say it. You fucking nuts, Dave? We're responsible. We voted for these people. Yeah, but law is an expression of morality. International law is an expression of what we can agree on internationally. This comes from a planet that have nations whose morality are so wide that in some countries they beat women, in some countries they circumcise women, in some countries they circumcise men, in some countries they let people die for, even if they can fix them. Uh, uh, and in other countries, we have homelessness. We have different morality. In some countries, they have the death penalty. In some countries, they don't. We have, as human beings all over the globe, different moralities. And we have been killing each other since we walked out of the primordial ooze, and the wars have been bloody. And they have been, I mean, they make what Israel is, the brutal war in Gaza that Israel is conducting, make it look like that's a Sunday school, right? So, after doing that for decade after decade after decade, after war after war after war, we got together and we set up parameters based on an agreed upon moral conviction about trying to stop the most gruesome aspects of law. In that, there was, hey, what about civilians? Yeah, don't kill civilians. Okay, what about if somebody hides behind civilians? Okay, we are going to generate a math that we agree upon. The value of the target gives you this many civilian or civilian infrastructure or whatever. That's what they got together. That was the morality of the world. So I don't understand what it is that he's saying. Should we apply the morality of the world in the morality of how women are treated from in the majority of the world? That has to, we have to do that here. I mean, I know some MAGA people would love that, but really, is that what Dave is saying? Because I don't understand what's going on here. Yeah, but who's intentionally doing what? What are the enemy intentionally placing civilians in an area of combat? Or are the Israelis intentionally targeting civilians? I mean, if he wants to get into that stupid semantic argument, well, it's not stupid. It's a good argument to have, but I, he's skating over it, or he's doing what we all do, or what most of us all do here, and which is why kissing from trigonometry. He wrote a brilliant article about the failure of new media. But anyway, that's for another one. Intentionality. Yes. Was it the intent to kill? Yes or no? Was it the intent to have the civilians there? Yes or no? Does Dave know this? No. Do I know this? No. What are we doing here? No. I'm pretty sure we all understand your point. We're talking about morality. Law, a morality, a social construct within the different tribes, small tribes, large tribes, that when The vast majority of the tribe agrees we make it into law so we can live together. Again, therefore, the laws of war are how we morally should conduct ourselves in war. It's kind of funny, right? Because there's nothing moral about war. It's fucking killing people. Women, children, men, all of it, right? It's just murder and destruction and waste of money. But here we are having this debate, including morality, Dave. Including morality. Anyway, Mr. Dave, I really do like him. I like him better on podcast than on. I like him better on podcast than I like him on Twitter because he can be a little bit. But it's been going on for days, and then he put out this video, and it gave me an epiphany, because really, morality is a social construct. And if morality is a social construct, but we use our morality to create the laws so that we can all live together without, being the worst of the worst of ourselves. Anyway, as always, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for spending a little time with me. And I hope to see you back here again the next one.